What's up, Deontay? How you doing, man?
I'm good, buddy.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Dale.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So, I came by today to check out your gear.
The Steinberg UR 824s, I love them. These are the greats. You know, it's Yamaha. You know, I've got gear Yamaha. This is older than you. And,
How old is that? Don't even. Never mind. Let's not talk about it. It's pretty old. Well, let's
pretty
not
old.
say it. Yeah.
But these are made by Yamaha. You know, also. And,
I like Yamaha.
Yamaha just lasts forever, and
it's a really cool company.
The quality is, you know, and these have the preamps that come out of a Yamaha board, you know.
Like the old, yeah, like the mixing board.
Yes, yes.
They got a bunch of mixing boards.
Yes, yeah. They've been around for a long time, and I've had them, and I haven't had a problem. You know, the only really big problem I've had is the setup. If you go on other channels, you know, search engines, and look for information on how to daisy chain them together, there's nothing.
All right, but before we start talking about how you set it up, so you got two hybrid inputs in the front, XLR and 1/4 inch, and then on the back you got another 8 just like that, right?
Yes.
Right, and so
you can only link 24 channels. Anything over that, you would need another instrument.
So there you go, boom. So the 8 inputs, and you can link 24.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Yeah.
All right. So, and so, dude, was it a task putting these things together and making them work and communicate with one another?
That's where the information failed me online. I wasn't able to get accurate information from where I bought it, Guitar Center, and also Steinberg. No, there wasn't any way, or anything that. It wasn't any kind of videos that just came out and said, "Here's 3 units, boom, boom, boom. This is how you do it." And
right.
It took a lot of troubleshooting. I did talk to a rep at Steinberg at one point, and I got the second one working. So, after a few weeks, I was able to record with 16 channels. I was okay. I wasn't dead in the water.
Right. So now, do you have to go in, like with Personas, right? It's serial numbers. So first serial goes here, and then it follows in succession. Did you have to do that here? Or does it matter?
No, I did basically because I was familiar with the Studio One equipment, so I did. But no, that doesn't matter.
All right.
The important thing is knowing how they talk to each other to link up, and that was really an eye-opening task. If you look here, you see that this one is an internal clock.
Right.
This one is set to A.A, and this one is set to A.B. So when you go on the back side of it, you have to be able to understand how to chain them together from this one to this one to this one, and this one links back into that one.
So it doesn't go back up here. It goes right back to the top.
It completes the cycle back up to the master.
Okay, and so look, before we go and check that out, each one has a high Z impedance.
The first two have a high Z, and
and they all have pads.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 have pads.
Okay, so the pads, if the signal's too hot, press the pad. It minimizes the
It
signal.
takes it down about half. So like if I'm sitting at 0 and my signal is still hot, I'll pad it and then kick it up past 6, and it's like you're starting back out at 0 again. You start getting a good signal at that point there.
All right, and then the high Z. So that's if you use just a 1/4
instrument.
inch.
Yeah, if you're using instruments.
Cool.
Now the back side, you can still, it has the same kind of plug-in. You can use an instrument on the back side.
Or XLR or microphone.
Yeah, so you can actually, like if you've got a lot of keyboards and stuff, you don't necessarily need to plug them into these here. You're supposed to, and then you hit the high Z, and it changes the output of the preamp.
All right.
You know the power, but you still can use them on the back.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. And then really quick. So I see you got your you basically have your amps turned all the way up, and then you use these as your gain.
These are non-relevant. All the sound volume. This is my master out volume to my
so these
speakers.
just because it's daisy chain and this one's the
Yeah.
master. These
These
doesn't
don't
matter.
matter.
But on the other hand, these do.
These do, and the headphones, they also work. It's got 2 headphone outs. DSP effects on the computer screen, you can control the more me mix.
Okay, real quick, and then do you see that it's got 96K down to 44K?
Mm-hmm.
I see you set up at 48K.
Yes.
Did you choose that, or is it chose that for you?
Your software, when you open it up, be it Studio One or Cubase,
Pro Tools,
Pro Tools, you have to watch a lot of templates will set it to 44 automatically.
Right.
And if you're not paying attention to that, it will cause these to not work properly. Like if it's set this one to 44,
Yep.
these will still be set at 48.
And it won't.
And
yeah.
then you'll only be able to record with 8 signals, and these won't read.
Right.
So I've set all my templates up to 48. That way they all stay the same. Now the trick is when you're setting these up, and nobody told me this, that I learned through a lot of research, reading manuals. You basically, if you got these 3, you have to take your USB cord and plug into each of them individually, and then go into your control panel on your audio interface and manually change it to ADAT-B.
Okay.
Then you unplug the USB cord from the back, plug the USB cord into the
Oh,
second
so
one.
you're actually plugging it, unplugging it, plugging it, and unplugging it.
You plug it in,
Yep.
make a change on the computer, change it to ADAT-B.
Oh, in your
And then
control
you-
panel and your software.
Yes, and then you
So-
unplug and go into this one, change it to ADAT-A on the software,
All right. So let me say it this
then
way.
plug it back
So-
into 1, and they'll read.
When you go into your software for your recording, you go to your sound card control panel. And then in there you can change and increase your buffer size and all that. In there is where he's talking about you'd have to make each change for each interface. Right?
Right. And if you don't do that, they will not talk to each other.
Okay. And I think that's about it. And then so you coming out of here. So how are you running from the patch bay to here?
Okay, what's going on with the patch bay? I've got a second interface here, and it's,
Yamaha.
It's a same thing. It's the little sister to these Steinberg. Because I'm a Cubase user exclusively, with a touch of Studio One. This all integrates with the Cubase.
Okay.
So with my mobile unit, my laptop, I have this. So I can do stuff with my laptop, and the sound is coming out of here into the patch bay and routed back out to the speakers.
Ah.
And anything that I need, like this tone generator, if I want to play it into the speakers, I'll just plug it into there.
Right.
The back side of these has 8 outputs each. So I can do aux mixes to the headphones for the more me mix,
Yep.
for bands that are in here working with headphones.
Yep.
And that's set up to where I've got all my outputs routed out there to the live room. And with the DSP mix effects and the Q sends, I'm able to add reverbs and stuff like that and not affect the actual recording that's going down.
Okay.
and that's basically what's going on. Not a whole lot of use for
The patch bay?
patch bay,
Right.
because everything is in the
This
box.
is it. Right. Okay. Why don't we take a look at what's going on behind this thing? So we see,
All
can you
right,
show
cool.
people about it?
Yeah, let's check it out. So it's out, in and out, in and out, out, in and out, into in and out here, and then the A goes back up to B.
Okay, I can see why that's really confusing. I can see why that would take you a long time to try to figure that out.
6 months.
Yeah, and because that's they could have done it better. They could have made it easier for folks.
Well, and the other thing I tell everybody that gets into this stuff, get you a comfortable chair, because not everything you need to know is on the internet. Everybody's system is unique, and you're gonna have to troubleshoot some things. So don't get frustrated, don't lose hope. Every situation is different, so there's not always help out there. You just basically have to acquire knowledge and troubleshoot it. And I rigged it and wired it wrong so many times that it actually was an accident that I got it.
So you saw some guy on video who actually had the Steinberg and two other different interfaces.
Yeah, and he was. That's kind of where I got some of my knowledge from. But no, there was nothing specific to all these.
Right.
The same things. In the rack. So, yeah, after a while of figuring it out, I got it up and running, and I was able to. They've worked flawless ever since.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, because my gear was a lot easier, but I'm like, my stuff's Firewire, and I know your boy Brian's got what, a Focus, right, and an Apollo, right? Yeah. So I mean, so these machines, they communicate with each other, some easier than others. And it's good that you figured it out.
Yeah, and I just want to pass on knowledge to people who might be in the same position. With the UR824s. It's a supreme quality sound. I love them. It's. But as far as getting them to work properly, there's not a lot of information out there, and I just wanted to do this video for that reason. So
yeah, I'm sure folks will appreciate that, right? I think so.
It doesn't really, I mean, the same setup could work for different interfaces. It's having, the main thing is to make sure that you have your internal clock, which one is going to be the controller, and with the other ones that are going to be controlled. Mm-hmm. So you have to know your master and which ones are internal and external ADATs.
Yep.
And once you get those set, then the wiring, it basically has to go out of one into another, out of that one into another, and then out of that one back into the master.
It just can be kind of confusing is all. But
yeah, it's really confusing. You just have to you got to think of this as like pipes and water. If you don't get the right connection, you're not going to get the water to where you need it to go.
Makes sense.
So with all of this stuff, and it can be overwhelming and technical, but if you just think on the terms of the flow, signal path.
Yep.
You hear us talk of that, but think pipes and water.
Everything's in and out.
In a nutshell, that's my unit. That's my setup.
That's great, buddy.
Yep.
I totally appreciate that. I know people do too.
Cool.
We are
DND Direct.
That's right. I'm Deontay. He's Dale. We'll see you next week.
Next week.